What is happening, folks? It is Boxing and Bagels, and kind of like a quick hits, the band is back. Jersey Jay-Z, Coach D is at the bottom. How are you guys?
What's up?
What up? What up?
Before we start, I know he had a rough night on Friday night. Mike Tyson had a very rough night, but he was nice enough to send us to Jersey Jay-Z.
Yay, yay, it's your birthday. Hey, 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 it's your day. It's not Monday, it's not Tuesday, it's not Wednesday, it's not Thursday, it's not Friday, it's not Saturday, it's not Thursday. It's your birthday.
Jersey Jay-Z turns 50 years old. Unbelievable that Mike Tyson, after the beating he took on Friday night, was able to put that together for you.
Thank you so much, Mike. Thank you so much, Mike. I really appreciate
it. He messed up the days, but he got back on track there at the end. Well, we haven't been around. We haven't been on together in a minute here, but we definitely had to get in. We do have Kevin Iole coming on shortly. He's going to discuss the fights last night, UFC 309, John Jones and Stipe Miocic. But we're going to talk a little bit about Mike Tyson's fight on Friday night on Netflix. And we're going to start really right away. We're going to go right to Jersey Jay-Z. Jersey, you saw the fight there on Netflix in Jersey.
Yep.
Was the Netflix situation throughout the country, or did you have streaming at all time?
No, it did not. It froze about 6 times on my end. And every time I had to start rebooting it, I hit the button every 3 or 4 times. It was a mess. And then the commentating was even 10 times worse with Holyfield and Rosie Perez. That was also a mess.
Why Rosie Perez was there, I have no idea. Did you have that same issue with Netflix?
Yeah, I did. And what happened was I was watching on my phone, so I twisted my phone up, and it worked a little bit better, but then it kept on going off.
Well, let's get into the fight itself, or prior to that, before we get into that, we had what I thought was a good build up to the fight. You had the great press conferences that at the end, after the last final face-off and weigh-in, Tyson smacks Jake Paul, get everything going. They thought, okay, Mike Tyson now has turned into the Mike Tyson of old. He is now ready to go. He's going to be in there. They do the undercard, was pretty good. I thought there was a pretty good, except the first fight, the Goya guy, the Indian guy, he wasn't great. He lacked skills. But then the other fights are pretty good. The fight of the night, obviously, Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, the rematch, tremendous fight. You can't say that anyone got robbed. I know people saying that Serrano got robbed, and they weren't so quite sure because it was a Jake Paul fighter, why she would get robbed. You can't have it both ways. Either you got robbed and it was a one-sided ass whooping, or it was a good fight and it could have gone either way. What was your perspective, Jersey, on that fight itself?
I thought it was a great fight, the girl fight. And I thought Serrano won. That was my opinion. Katie Taylor was bumping heads a little bit, but it was a close fight. I guess they gave it to the champion, so I don't know. But I thought Serrano won.
And Diz, what was your take on that as well?
So I thought Serrano won. She threw 100 more punches. They took a point off for Taylor, and she lost by 1 point. I don't know. I didn't agree to it. I didn't agree. I thought Serrano was picking her apart. I mean, she couldn't do nothing with her until the later rounds. After that cut, then it started, and it was a bad cut. That was
a very bad cut. The only thing I would say with that is, if it was close, I don't know why they would swing it towards her as opposed to a Jake Paul fighter. That was the only thing I thought. I thought that it had to be clearer. I thought Katie Taylor might have won this only because she was one who was a little bit more respected as far as what she's done in the past. That's the only, I think she had been the champion. I think that's one thing that helped her.
But
other than
that's the one thing that helped her. But you're telling me that one thing is what made her win? I mean, she really got her ass kicked throughout the whole fight. She did.
Well, no, you can't say that. I mean, I think Katie Taylor was rough. I think one of the things is Katie Taylor is very rough. So it looked like she was just not doing as much as she really normally does. But that was those two styles are two styles that they're going to take a lot out of each other.
So
rematch coming?
I don't know.
That's a rough one, because how many times can you do that fight? Only because it is taking a lot out of both fighters.
So where was the first fight? Madison Square Garden?
I believe it was the Garden. Yeah, it was. It was Madison Square Garden. Yep.
Okay, and then the second fight was Texas.
Mhm.
Do you go overseas or go to Puerto Rico for the fight?
Could you go to Cork? I don't know. Puerto Rico would be a big. Jake Paul lives there now. I don't know. I don't know how much appetite people have for this right now. Because two women fighting a trilogy, I don't even know if that's been done ever, but it's a possibility. I mean, it could happen. That is definitely a possibility, but I don't see it happening right now. I think they both need some time off.
So have you ever when you were watching that fight, did you see Katie Taylor in trouble?
Yeah.
Did you see
matter of
Serrano in trouble?
No, but I saw Katie throwing a lot. I thought Katie was very aggressive. It could have gone either way. I'm not saying that's the
Yeah, it
case.
could have, but I was leaning more towards Serrano. I mean,
me too.
Fight. Their styles are like car wrecks.
And I think those two clash very good together. I think the fight would be very good. If they had a trilogy. Again, I don't know how much is taken out of each other.
That's what I was going to say. You can't, those two, I mean, they can't keep on taking a beating like that.
No. And I think that showed in Katie Taylor's fight after she fought Serrano, that fight, and she loses. I mean, you take a lot out of someone in a fight like that situation, the training, and then you're back to back fights. If you went right to a rematch, that'd be way too much to ask for someone at that point. But let's turn ourselves to the main event. The main event, Mike Tyson, Jake Paul. Like I said in the opening, I thought initially when I saw Mike Tyson get all ramped up, ready to go, I thought for sure, I said, okay, Mike Tyson looks like he's in. I started questioning myself because I'd picked Jake Paul by knockout and I thought he was going to do it pretty early. But then when I saw Mike Tyson, he looked good. He looked in great shape. He looked physically ready. He looked mentally ready. Then the walkout came and I thought, oh boy, he tripped coming to the ring.
Yes, he did.
It did not look, he looked very old. And I don't know if you guys noticed when they were introducing him, it almost looked like he was ready to cry. If you look at very closely, he was getting very emotional. Maybe he got caught up in the moment. Maybe he thought this was the last time he's ever going to do this again.
He better be.
I thought he had one shot in that first round. That was it. To the online community that is saying that Jake Paul paid him, the online community that says, Mike Tyson would only get paid if he didn't knock him out. You guys are crazy. This fight was a one-sided ass whooping. He beat the brakes off of Tyson. Like I said, it would be one round that he would have to be careful, a little bit careful. But even I think if that he did the one round, I don't even think he had to be careful. I don't think Tyson had to punch anymore. Jay-Z, go ahead.
Well, you were on with me and Greg, and we have people in the chat saying Tyson's going to knock him out. Tyson's going to knock him out. And 58 is 58. I just turned 50 today, and I feel old. So you saw it. One round, Tyson was done after that first round, and Jake Paul beat the hell out of him. As much as I don't like Jake Paul, and I was hoping that Tyson would win, I knew it wasn't going to happen. So,
But he didn't even do anything. Like, he didn't even do anything in that first round. There was nothing there.
I think he threw a total of 97 punches. That's what, 12 punches per round?
And some of them didn't even make it to his face or to his body. It was not good. Not good at all. Diz, what was your impressions? Let me get to this first. Before the fight, and me and you talked privately. We hadn't done it on the air. But what was your initial feeling? And then right before the fight, did you have a feeling that Tyson may have had a shot?
No, I told you before, I was like, Tyson's going to get knocked out. Yeah, there's no shot. 8 months ago when he went in the hospital and he was found out they had blood clots, I mean, right there, the fight should have been off. Like he said, he almost died eight months ago. It was sad. It was sad for Jake Paul to put it's money, so he's going to do it. But it's sad for boxing community to actually put Tyson in that fight.
The fact that the Texas State Athletic Commission sanctioned him.
Yep.
Is beyond me. That is beyond me.
Yep.
How did he not disclose that he was in the hospital with blood clot?
That's
way out of control.
Mm-hmm.
That's way out of control. Tyson almost went down. It looked like he got hit, and he was on a little bit.
No, I'd be honest with you. I think his knees were shot.
Yeah.
That's why when he was walking down, he almost fell.
That's right.
You know, you remember, Jay-Z, when I was talking to you and Greg, I said there's times where it looked like he was pushing his punches because his
Correct.
shoulder stuff. That's what I'm talking about. Like, you want to throw it. You want to throw that punch. You see it there, you're right. You just can't do it. They call it not being able to pull the trigger. That was in full effect Friday night, and it really affected him. I think it was one of those things where you couldn't get enough steam on your punches, even if you had that. You couldn't. And at 58, I mean, he has to clean up. I mean, he actually did say that he would do it again.
Ugh.
That's a scary situation itself.
And that's another thing. Listen, people are saying he needed the money. Tyson doesn't need the money. He has so many marijuana dispensaries. I mean, he's making a ton of money with endorsements, movies. You know, he just did a show on Netflix, a comedy show a couple years ago. He doesn't need the money.
I'd be shocked if he didn't need the money, only because doesn't it always seem that Mike Tyson has these people that hang on to him and just suck his money dry every time? I mean, between Don King and now this situation, it is absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts.
And to be honest with you, a little disrespectful for Logan Paul at the end. Did you see that?
Yeah.
It's like, come on, dude. Come on.
Yep.
Yeah. Speaking of, let's go quickly turn the topic here to Netflix.
Oh, that's where I wanted to go anyway.
Oh boy.
Okay. So a couple things. If I was looking to court new customers and I was going to give them free bagels, I said, I'm going to give you free bagels and cream cheese. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make sure that they got the freshest bagels, the best ingredients, and I'm going to present it to them really good. This event was free for subscribers. And then, you know, what do you know what it costs for Netflix a month? Is it
$9.99?
Okay.
A month?
So if you wanted to buy it, $9.99, you could get it. They said there was over 60 million people that watched that show. 60 million.
It broke the McGregor Mayweather fight, right?
Not in terms of revenue, because it's $9.99. Okay, and I don't know the percentage of people who had Netflix to begin with. So 60 million homes. It was a friggin' disaster. I mean, I would have my phone. Michelle had the TV. I was blaming Michelle because I was like, yo, shut yours off because the stream is not. It's across the board. It was bad. The announcing. Why is Rosie Perez announcing a fight and bringing zero to the table? Zero to the table, other than she's an actress who may have a connection to Amanda Serrano.
Yes.
That's it. There is nothing else she brings to the table. Roy Jones is the only one on that commentary that was good. Andre Ward also. Then you have Lennox Lewis and Holyfield. Holyfield didn't even know he was on the camera. Okay, didn't even know.
Did he know he was at the fight?
He had sunglasses on indoors. Okay, and then when the announcer, the host, was trying to get Holyfield's attention to give him an answer, Lennox Lewis decided to take over the interview and ask weird questions about him getting bit in the ear, which wasn't even what the girl had asked, which I thought was unprofessional for Lennox Lewis to do. All you do is say, hey, he asked you this. Answer the question. It took Andre Ward to say, hey, I'm going to ask him. This is what it is. It took Andre Ward to get a hold of that conversation. And it was so bad. And then and the flow was it was just so slow. I like it like the old HBO days, and they're on time restraints. I get it. But the old HBO days, you have 2 fights, 3 fights, whatever it is, bang, bang, bang. A little 12-minute who they are, 12-minute who they are. I don't need to know from Ariel Helwani, from Andre Ward, from this guy, from Rosie Perez, what this guy does, how the fight's going to end. I don't need that. Give me the fights. JC, what'd you think?
I agree with you, but George, what do you think? Do you think they should have had less announcers?
They should. Why have someone who has nothing to do with it? Okay, another announcer. I don't. Mauro Ranallo, he's okay, but I think he's a little over the top. Okay, why not get someone like a Jim Lampley or a Max Kellerman with a Roy Jones that does a professional job? Mauro Ranallo gets. I think they wanted the impact. Like this is a big show type of deal, and it gets dumb. Rosie Perez, obviously nothing. The other girl that was in, I forget her name. the British girl that was in the back there doing it for. I forget where she works. But I've seen her a bunch of times. Andre Ward was good. I think he was good. He would be a good host. But there's sometimes less is better in a situation like this. Less is better.
Totally agree.
So I mean, the idea that they have to have so many people and to mix it up very nicely and look good, that's a stupid idea. Less is better sometimes. And again, Diz, I mean, from your perspective, what would you do to correct that? If you were Netflix, what would you do to bring the customer back? Because I don't know how many people are coming back.
So I think they were in too deep. I think they didn't know what they were doing. I mean, all those commentators. I would like just the commentators around the ring, and then the people outside or in like a different office area. How they throw back to the through the office and stuff like
the host desk.
Yeah, throw it back to there like the UFC does. But after the show, they don't keep on going through there. Back and forth. I think they promoted it well because every channel I was watching, this was on. It was on every news channel throughout the week. Mom was even telling me, "Oh, the big fight's on this week," and I'm like, "How the hell you know?" But
Mom watches Fox News, and that's about it.
But it was all over the place. It was on CNN, Fox News, our local news. I mean, it was all over. So they promoted it well. But again, I think Netflix was in too deep. They didn't know what they were doing, and I think they will get their hands on it a little better this time. Probably bring more people into that did boxing shows. But it was a little disaster.
But here's the problem now. Supposedly rumors are that the WWE and the UFC are interested in doing deals with them. If you're the CEO of Netflix and you're the CEO or you're Dana White or Tony Khan looking to put a deal together for Netflix, that would scare me. Mm-hmm. to be honest with you. What can they do to correct something like that? Jay-Z?
I don't know what they can do. Could they want the Super Bowl possibly?
Yes, Super Bowl.
No way. That would be a mess. Total disaster. I don't know what they got to do. They got to figure out something because it's not going to work. After this,
I think they were in too deep. They didn't have the right, technology.
But this was canceled. This was canceled back in July. So you mean to tell me that they don't know that there's going to be and you're giving it away free. It's not like they had to buy anything. It's $9 and already people if you had all the people already in place, the people that have Netflix initially, you got to probably garner about 50% more to say, all right, we're going to get a 50% uptick from this because it's two people from different, you're going to get the boxing people who are just going to jump on. And then you got the people who know Jake Paul from the kids all the way up. Mm-hmm. How my mom knows Jake Paul, our mom knows Jake Paul I have no idea. I mean, she thought it was Logan Paul, to be honest with you. That's till a fight. But I mean, that's what I mean.
George, let me ask you a question real quick. Netflix is giving it away for free. In a business world, why would they give it away for free? Is they're gonna get people watching it and get more subscribers?
That's the whole thing. You're trying to get. You want that probably for the third quarter. You're going to want all. It's good for your EBITDA and it's good for your bottom line. So the investors probably get a nice little dividend at the end there, but they want to try to keep you. They're gonna try to. You want somebody to say this was a good product put on. I liked it. Let's keep it a couple months. Let's just see what we got. Listen, everybody that I know has Netflix, loves the series that they put together, loves the comedy shows they put together. It has a good reputation, but those are taped shows.
It's the live.
If you get the live, because Dana White always said even when COVID was going on, the live sports is the way to go. Now, there goes Jay-Z. He's gone. What the hell happened to Jay-Z there?
But George, I would say this. Do you remember when UFC went to ESPN for the first couple?
Oh, that was bad. That was bad too.
So
yeah, that was bad too.
So maybe they just need to get the kinks out.
All right, and I agree. There are a lot of kinks there.
Is Jay-Z using Netflix?
Let me see. I'll put.
I wasn't using Netflix. I was using Netflix, trying it out. The new Netflix.
It does look like. I mean, I think Netflix kind of cut us off here, but no. As I was saying, Jay-Z, if you can get people in that like your product and can just keep them, even if it's for the first quarter of next year, it's good for the bottom line. It's good for their investors. It's good for the people who are going to get their dividends out. But it also gives them a chance to get down the road stuff, this UFCs, the Super Bowl possibly. But you have to button that up. You cannot have those situations on a large scale like a Super Bowl or like something like a big UFC event. Like, could you imagine if UFC 100 or UFC 200 or UFC 300, those big events were on there and it crashed? Oh my gosh,
Oh my
it would
God.
have been bad news because
But like I said, the ESPN one when they were streaming UFC for the first couple times, it was like that.
it was
So
hard to navigate too. It was
Mhm.
very hard to navigate. People didn't understand it. They didn't understand you had to do a couple different things to put on.
Netflix, it pops right up. I went on Netflix last night, and the number one show on there is the fight for Tyson. The number
Yep.
two is like the 24/7 for the show.
For what?
Netflix. Number one in the United States. Number two in the United States is both Jake Paul and Mike Tyson.
How do they when you do that? Is it just based on live shows or is that everybody?
Just watching, people watching,
Just
most
watching.
views, most views.
Yep.
Wow.
One and two, back to back. Every
that-
time you would go on Netflix, that was the first thing that popped up last week was
Yeah.
the picture that you have behind you. So
So
they
ultimately,
promoted it very well.
as bad as it is, as bad as it was, and we can agree that I think Paul could have knocked him out at any point, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. After the first round, I think he could have knocked him out at any point. But overall, a financial windfall for Netflix.
Yeah. Mhm.
So
So they
We
got.
can-
So what was the purpose? 20 and 40.
20 and 40, correct. So let's just say it's 60 million total dollars, right? Supposedly there's 60 million people that watched it at $9.99. That's a lot. That's a big, huge. That's a chunk of money. That is a chunk of money. Let alone the advertisers that are on there, the sponsors. I mean, I didn't see any there, but I'm sure there are.
I did not like. I liked them fighting in Dallas. I did not like the long walk to the ring.
Yeah, it's kind of like WWE. I never liked. The only time I liked the WrestleManias is when they were in that thing and went down. I think they both should have been in something like that,
Yeah.
Mhm.
as opposed to
Yeah, 'cause-
Tyson walking, almost falling. It was embarrassing. It was
He was
just
tired walking down to that ring.
It was just
After that long
embarrassing.
walk.
Embarrassing for him. It was
Yes.
embarrassing for his credibility. And we're trying to see if Kevin is coming on here.
Where does Jake Paul go next after the circus? Where does he go next, Jake Paul?
I put out there, and now it's starting to happen where a lot of these fighters are now saying, which I thought they would, hey, Canelo, you've got to
Just
come
knock
and stop this nonsense. It's
Mhm.
nonsense. I saw Clarissa Shields said it, and someone else said it yesterday. I saw that. They
Mhm.
said, why is Canelo Alvarez not coming to the table and fighting this guy? Get him out of here.
And let me tell you,
Get
Canelo would kill him.
Oh, it wouldn't be. It'd be a 1-round annihilation. And that would be it. That would be it. I
You
don't
can
still
tell
see
the
flaws.
crowd-
You still see.
I could
flaws.
tell the crowd is just really want to see Jake Paul get knocked out because they were all behind Tyson. That crowd was all behind Tyson.
that was a nostalgia thing. I mean,
Yes.
it wasn't believe me, they do not. Nobody in that area, that realm of niche likes Jake Paul. Whether it's the boxers, the trainers, nobody likes him.
But he's doing a lot for boxing. He's doing a lot
Is
right
he?
now.
Is he?
No.
60 million.
Now, how does that help? How does that help the boxers? He's picking
More.
a 58-year-old man.
Okay, the female boxers, he's
Okay,
putting them on a platform.
I think Eddie Hearn has done more for female boxers than him.
And that's what the concern was. That's what the talk was too. But George, you just said that even last week, boxing's dead. There isn't really nothing going on.
Well, okay. So, how many of these fights are you going to get? How many of these big stars are you going to get? What are we going to go? We're going to get celebrity boxing. I mean, the problem with boxing, and they sit there and they look at them, they blame everybody else. They should look in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
When Terrence Crawford won against Spence, he went on the Joe Rogan show and he was extremely popular. Crickets.
Yep.
Crickets after that. You never heard him. He should have capitalized on that and fought somebody. So you should take the UFC model. And they always say it. You take the UFC model, that's the model to go. It's hard to do in boxing because people do certain things and you have promoters, whatever. But if you fight very tough competition, the people will show up. They'll show up. They'll buy. Now, piracy, that's everywhere. You got to battle it anyway. Maybe Netflix can come in. I don't know how the Netflix situation works. I don't know how There's got to be a way that they steal it too. I would imagine
You can't.
it's hard to steal that. It's hard to steal Netflix. So does that help some? I don't know. I just don't think the boxers do themselves any favors. The other thing is Turkey Al-Sheikh coming in from the Saudis, coming in and throwing around all that money. I'm all for everyone making money. But the problem with boxers was they got into boxing because of necessity. They had to make that money. Someone gives you that money, you don't got to make it. You fight once a year. Tyson was fighting all the time, 2-3 times a year until he made 50 million a fight. Then he stopped. Notice that?
Yep, you're right.
De La Hoya, 2-3 times a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then 3 times a year on HBO 1 to build up his fight for Vargas. Then he would fight Stevie Forbes to build up his fight for this guy. When he came back to fight Mayorga, to build up his fight for this guy. They don't do that anymore because they're not paying the money. That is the byproduct of Showtime and HBO leaving. Now it's all streaming services. You have to be able to monetize the streaming services in order to pay these guys. But then they start stealing it.
And then what also too, it's like, Top Ranks with ESPN. So you can't go on ESPN and fight.
You can. You got to give up 20% of your purse.
Wow.
It's like,
it's all criminal. Listen, I've told you a million times, boxing is the dirtiest sport there is. There is. Period. End of story. It's terrible. But again, as evident to Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, whether it's a boxing match or not, it's still can draw when you put name fighters there.
We got to get you back in the ring, George. Again, we're going to build it up like the Jake Paul.
I thought we did that last year.
We did that last year. Did that friggin' last year, and I tore my.
We got to do it again now and build it up.
We're gonna try. We're gonna get one more go at it. But we're gonna go right into UFC. I think I don't know if Kevin's gonna be here. We got to get into UFC here because we have some stuff going on here at the shop, of course, as usual. So Saturday night UFC 309, the battle for supremacy in the heavyweight division. John Jones, Stipe Miocic. But I'm going to go first to the couple fights that were on the undercard. The first one, what I thought was going to be I thought Bo Nickel was going to take this guy out pretty quickly because I have a lot of respect for Bo Nickel. Bo Nickel went there and he took on, hold on one second. Well, I got to get the picture up here. So Bo Nickel goes up there. There's a picture of him and Paul Craig. Bo Nickel didn't look great. Matter of fact, in typical New York fashion, they booed him. Getting overrated at the end of the fight. Not a good look for Bo Nickel, but he's still undefeated, 8-0. Goes and beats him. Diz, did you happen to see the fight, and what was your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I just thought Paul Craig was a little experienced.
Very big.
What?
Very big.
Yes, and that's what Bo Nichols needs to do. He needs to get in those fights where he feels uncomfortable and competition's a little better. He was fighting tomato cans, but still, Paul Craig, what was he like, 18-7, or
yeah.
So he's been in the ring. He's been in the octagon for a while. So maybe Bo Nickel was a little nervous a little bit to see what would happen. I'm surprised he didn't even try to take him down.
Right.
That's what I was like. Oh, maybe he wanted to test his stand-up.
Now, JC, let me ask you. Do you think this was a one of those situations where Bo Nickel started reading his press clippings and just didn't perform to where he could?
Well, I saw highlights of it. Bo Nickel clearly was very cautious going into this fight. Like, he was taking it very easy, 0 takedowns, but he got all the cleaner shots in. But I was surprised because I heard all the boos going on, and that's the typical New York crowd.
Oh yeah,
perform or else they're gonna boo you.
Yeah, we noticed that from the Yankees this year. And Aaron Judge, not performing up to his par in October when he needed to. We'll quickly go to Michael Chandler and Charles Oliveira. Now, this fight was hilarious, I thought, towards the end. Right there is that picture that you see. Michael Chandler performing the WWE Samoan drop on Charles Oliveira, which
not
once, twice. The fact that he was able to pick him up twice is incredible.
Yep.
I initially, when I first saw this fight being made, I thought Michael Chandler was out a little longer and he wasn't fighting and he wanted that McGregor fight. I thought it was going to be a letdown fight for him. I did pick Charles Oliveira to knock him out in about 2 rounds. Not exactly what I figured happened was going to happen. I thought Oliveira just was more active and he was fighting better competition. I thought it was a mistake for Chandler waiting for Conor McGregor because I knew Conor wasn't going to fight. I mean, I know they promised everybody a million things, just wasn't ready to fight. Conor was not going to fight him. And here we are now. He fights, loses, but he does well. And I'll tell you what, he got a lot of fans last night. Jersey, did you see that fight? The
Yeah, I
highlights?
saw some of it. That was a war, that fight. They went back and forth with each other, and that Samoan drop was I couldn't believe that. I saw that. He kind of pointed it and it went backwards.
Yes, it was like he was really in WWE.
Yes, it was everything. It was a great fight, great war, but obviously Chandler lost the fight. So, what can you do?
Diz, what was your thoughts on that going in?
I thought just like you, too much time out the ring for Chandler. He needed to stay busy. But again, he's always in shape, so he's always going to give you a good fight. But Charles beat him last time, so I thought he had a little, an inch up on him. But Chandler's always going to be there at the throwdown and just going to the wild with just throwing punches and stuff like that. Again, I don't think Chandler tried to take him down. I thought maybe a couple times, and then that was it. He couldn't even he couldn't do nothing.
Yeah, I didn't know why Chandler went with that route, but he definitely did, and thought that was his best way to win. Didn't turn out that way. I thought Oliveira did very well, but I'll tell you what, Chandler made a fan out of me because I like him because he can throw. He's one tough guy. Yep. Tough guy.
And now you said something before, and I can see it. Chandler can have a career in WWE. He could, just like Kurt Angle, something like that.
Ken Shamrock.
Yeah, he could.
The only thing is he's a little smaller, and but then nowadays, Jay-Z, you said MJF was
MJF
him, and he's small.
He's very small. He's not a big guy,
and he's one of the top guys in AEW. So that alone tells you, not the greatest.
No,
not you don't have to be the best, the biggest to be the best.
No.
So let's now turn our attention to the heavyweight fight. Which would determine who's going to be the greatest heavyweight of all time and would cement John Jones as the pound for pound fighter, best fighter in the world right now. John Jones stopped Stipe Miocic with if you look at that video, a vicious spinning back kick to the side of his it's not his liver, that's the other side. His liver's on the other side. That's the side. That once he got hit there, it was all right. He just dropped. He took 2 steps and then down he went. Vicious shot. John Jones then all of a sudden becomes now the new he retains the UFC heavyweight championship and becomes the new pound for pound king and probably without a doubt the greatest heavyweight of all time we've seen. My thoughts on that fight pretty simple. I knew John Jones was just gonna smoke him. Stipe had been knocked out viciously 2 times, 2 out of 4 in his last couple fights. He's not the same. He's on his way out. He was looking to retire, and he said it was out of his last fight. There's no. I don't know why this fight was made. I have no idea, but it's what they wanted. They gave it to the fans. They gave it to John Jones. I think John Jones wanted to solidify himself as no doubt he's the guy. Kind of easy to what I thought was going to happen, and it's what happened.
Yeah, it was he fought Stipe because of Stipe's one of the greatest heavyweights of all time.
Probably.
Yeah, so that's what John wanted to do, but John is just on different levels. He's on different levels. The stuff that Stipe, Stipe has never fought anybody like that, and going from he fought DC a couple of years ago and then Francis, totally 2 different styles of fighting. Also, John manhandled him to take him down in like the first round. You see that? Mm-hmm. A little bit just flew him down. I mean, he was on top of him the whole fight. It's just John Jones being John Jones, the pound for pound #1, greatest of all time, I think, in MMA. So
I think in all combat sports. All combat sports.
Yeah.
By far the best one I've heard. Jay-Z, what you think?
I'll just go back one thing. I know they can't take it. They can't take that loss away from him. But still, he won that fight. We all know. But he still should have an O on his record.
Yep.
No, I believe so, too. Jay-Z, go ahead.
John Jones, obviously, is the GOAT. What else can you say, man? He dominated that fight from the beginning to the end. I mean, that kick was devastating. When I saw that, I hunched over. That was so painful. I mean, John Jones is a goat.
Did you think at all Stipe had a chance going in? No. Kind of the consensus here.
Nope.
No, again, it was what we kind of figured here. I was 3 for 3 on my picks, although I said knockouts in all three.
Now, I would say this. Maybe the first fight heavyweight, like when he fought John Jones, maybe that he could have had a better shot at beating John Jones at that time, but not, years.
Who does Jones fight next now? Who do you think?
Well, I think he is going to eventually fight Tom Aspinall, whether it's next or not. Dana White says he gets what he wants all the time, and he wants that fight. I'm going to say that John Jones is going to fight Aspinall next. Everybody's high on Tom Aspinall. I may be the only one in the entire world who is not.
Really?
I'm not as high on Tom Aspinall as everybody else is. I think they say his boxing is really good. Seems that way, but let's see how good it is against someone like John Jones. His resume, Tom Aspinall's resume, isn't the greatest. I mean, it's Curtis Blades don't have a chin. The Russian guy he just fought, I forget his name.
Holvik.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay, but that guy was never tested. What happens when John Jones, who can wrestle, can punch? No, he can't punch that hard, but he can wrestle and hit you with crazy different moves as a heavyweight, as opposed to a light heavyweight. Different ball game. He's a lot faster. Tom Aspinall, I think, is fast too, though.
Yeah, he is. He is good footwork. Good footwork.
There's something I don't see winning that fight. I see Tom Aspinall is going to be a tough fight, but I think if a focused John Jones comes in and in good shape, because I don't think how good shape he was. His shorts were like my underwear, where they fold over the top because your belly's sticking over. Did you see that?
He's a little bit soft in the middle.
I thought, what the hell? He don't look, but he was in good shape. It seemed to be he was in good shape. So that's the only thing I worry about that. But Tom Aspinall, for some reason, and Diz, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm missing something. Tom Aspinall is good, as they're saying.
I think he's as good as the competition that he fought. That's what I would say. When you have John Jones throwing spears at you, like kicks and elbows, that's game changing right there. He's different. Good with the kicks to the knee, to the side, to the stomach. That's the stuff that's going to keep Tom Aspinall away.
And that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that Tom Aspinall hasn't seen something like this, and it could be a little different. And he's young. Tom Aspinall is young in this game, but I don't know. I still have a funny feeling. I don't know if it's just me. And again, granted, my picks have been atrocious.
I mean, I would pick John Jones over everybody right now.
Me too. John Jones over everybody.
I think so too. I don't know what the debate is about. Like, it's funny how fans get on John Jones about stuff like this, and I don't think it's warranted, because he's fought
everybody,
and in 2 weight classes. Cyril Gane was the number 1 guy at heavyweight. Blew him out. Fights Stipe Miocic. Kind of blew him out too. You could say Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou left.
He would have blew out Francis Ngannou.
I think so too. Because not only the striking, because we all know Francis isn't the greatest striker.
Nope.
He's very wild. The wrestling. Look who Francis lost to Stipe first because of the wrestling. Couldn't handle it.
Derek Lewis. That was
Derek Lewis. There's so many different things that John Jones brings to the table that someone like Tom Aspinall is going to have to deal with. He's going to have to deal with it. And I'm not saying he's not good. I mean, I think Kevin's going to rip me if he sees this, because he thinks I'm crazy. I just think that Tom Aspinall has trouble with John Jones right now. I'm not saying 2 years down the road. I'm saying right now. It's kind of like Canelo fighting a Benavidez. I think if he fought Benavidez right now, he beats Benavidez. I'm not saying 2 years down the road, but right now, John Jones gives him everything he can handle, and I think John Jones wins.
I got a question. John Jones, I mean, obviously I saw the fight. He's the greatest of all time. His purse for the fight was only, what, $2 million?
I don't think you got to go by that.
I mean, I don't know what is that what they're saying? It was 2 or 3 million? I don't know.
There's stuff you won't see.
Yeah, there's a lot of they have to report a certain amount on a commission thing.
And isn't UFC private too? Or no?
No, it's a public company now.
No, but they don't.
No, if they do bonuses and stuff, that's between them.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you could find it because it's a publicly traded company now.
So how much did
But
he get? Do you think for the fight?
10.
Yeah,
Probably.
Think so? Because
10, yeah.
I think of Jake Paul and Tyson. How that fight
It's a whole.
gets that much.
Here's the thing: boxing is so much different than UFC. Boxing is they're independent contractors. Really, they can do what they want. UFC, you got to wear the trunks. You got to. It's weird. They're independent contractors, but they're not.
Yeah.
Like they can't pick up and go to the other company,
Bellator,
Pride or not Pride. One. They can't do that. They have to stay in UFC, but they're, they don't have to get their medical paid. It's such a great friggin' area.
Just like this, Jay-Z, McGregor, right? He can't
Mhm.
fight anywhere without the UFC's approval.
Right.
Brendan Schaub has one more fight on his contract. He hasn't been in UFC in how long? He can't do anything.
I think that's the one that you can get by with the 7-year.
Okay.
Once
7 years.
7 years, I think it's null and void. But I'll tell you what, they're getting rid of the no compete clause here in America. They get rid of them. Yeah. Now I think the contractual stuff is different, but once your contract's up, I think you go wherever you want. There's the no compete clause. You might have right of first refusal and stuff like that, but as far as business wise, man, like haircut people and barbers and stuff like that and contractors, that stuff's going away. No compete clause.
What are you saying with the haircut place? I don't understand.
Like if you're a barber and you work for somebody and you have a chair and I have a chair, you can't take your clients with you. You have to stay with me. Nail salons do it all the time. They say no compete clause.
Okay.
That's not true. You can do what you want now. And it's starting to go away now. It doesn't hold up in court. But this is different. This is a little different because they have different things. Like you have to be it's such a gray area. I thought that that's really unfair because the WWE, Jay-Z, they can't just get up and go, but they're independent contractors. They don't get health insurance. They don't get that stuff, which they probably should now that they're a publicly traded company. They should do that as they're getting bigger. There's a lot of things, but they're taken care of. The WWE wrestlers are taken care of very well.
Yeah.
So it comes down to a lot of their own personal beliefs, and if they feel obligated to give their soul to the UFC, it's what it is.
I was going to ask Kevin if we came out. What was the true reason about the gloves? Did he say? Did you talk to him about that?
Kevin talked to Dana about that, and I talked to him a little bit. They just said it didn't work. There was something that didn't work. I don't know. He said we tried it. It just didn't work.
They said there was less knockouts without.
I don't think that was it. I don't think that's it at all. 4 ounces is 4 ounces. And maybe just weren't comfortable in your hands. I mean, I know how. Like I love Everlast gloves. It's because they're really small and they fit perfect. But I don't like Venom gloves. Too much padding. I don't like it. It's good for your hands, but not for fighting knockouts. So other than that, what do we got coming up in the next couple of days? Jersey Jay-Z, are you got stuff coming up?
Well, we got our football on Tuesday.
Right.
We got our football. We got a couple games we're gonna watch a little bit later. Got the Jets and the Colts. We got this football stuff, and then we got Greg on Thursday. That's about it.
So Jersey Jay-Z, straight out of Jersey on Thursdays with Greg, Jersey Jay-Z, and Coach Diz on Tuesday.
Got something to ask Jay-Z.
I was going to have you in there. I was going to get you in. You're jumping over again as usual, jumping in as I'm trying to control this shit. Go ahead,
Jay-Z. How was when you were on site of the Happy Gilmore?
How was it? It was great. It was just boring, obviously very boring. But I got to see MJF, who was actually in the movie. So me and him were talking at catering for a while. But it's actually boring. People, think it's a movie, but if it's not, it's waiting around, filming and filming and filming. That's it. Boring.
Did you happen to get the handway when you were there?
The handway?
I got one too. I got a handway.
You got one. Did you get one, George? Jay-Z?
There's something's going on right here. I know they're gonna do something. I can't. They're gonna do something. Go ahead. What is it? What's the joke? Come on.
I can't. I'm laughing.
I got a handway. Diz got a handway. You got a handway?
It's goodbye.
No.
No, I didn't get no handway.
Okay.
Do you know what a handway is?
No, I don't. What are you going to say? Go ahead. I know there's a joke in here somewhere. Come on. I know you too well. Come on.
You got to ask us what is a handway?
What's a handway?
About 3 pounds.
George got everybody with that.
I got everybody yesterday. Michelle's like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? I'm like, oh god.
I was like, what? What is it? Does it
Yeah,
does
he
it
goes,
go
"What is
around the
it?"
table?
Handway. Yeah. It's a handway. And you go, what is a handway? You go, handway, about
Yeah.
3 pounds.
Mhm.
3 pounds.
What movie is that from?
That was Stipe Miocic. He
Stipe?
yes, Daniel Cormier.
Oh, okay.
He said, I got a handway, so it makes my training better. He goes, handway, what's a handway? And he goes, about 3 pounds. We got him. And Daniel Cormier's like, what are you talking about? And then he got him. He told him what it was. It was pretty good though, funny. But either way, guys, Boxing and Bagels is back. Next couple, we're trying to get it back on Sundays regularly. Kevin must have something going on. I don't know why he couldn't join us here. He texts me. He's usually pretty good, Kevin. He's usually right on. But
This
he's
is
not
the first Boxing and Bagels where I'm not in studio.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Shit. Yeah. We're trying to get Greg out here to do an anniversary thing. I keep getting these anniversary things up that are popping up with us. Hopefully we can get him in studio here in the next couple weeks.
We'll work on something.
Get on something here. Again, Jersey Jay-Z, straight out of Jersey on Thursdays with Greg Valentino at 9 o'clock or 8:05 p.m. He also has the Tuesday show with the recap of the NFL week. Usually focuses more on the Jets and the Giants, but we have on there Coach Diz, TD Tom Davis, Chino the Professional, and Jersey Jay-Z hosting the show. This is the Zapata Brand Podcast. We have shows throughout the week, but Boxing and Bagels on Sunday. And then Kevin Ioli comes in pretty frequently, and Percy Crawford as well. And we do have regular guests and interviews. We're leading more into the business aspect. You will see that drop this week. I have a tale of a tape of two very influential financial guys, and I break it down as to who was better and what philosophy you should follow if you want to open up a business. So, Coach Diz, Jersey Jay-Z, we will see you guys next week. Guys, thanks for joining us. Remember, like and subscribe to the podcast. And remember, don't be envious of what I've accomplished in my life. Be inspired by what you can do in yours. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Peace.
Thanks for watching the Zapata Brand Podcast. Please subscribe to the podcast and listen where all podcasts are available.